Hey, don't know. I'm just sharing this part of my journey. It's Louise. Hello. I hope you're well. And thinking about the father. I wrote a letter this morning. I feel like I'm having this rapid shift, which is very tiring, actually. But I have a lot of faith that it's all for the best. But I've been very tired for well over a week. But it kind of feels, it doesn't feel unhealthy in a way, but it's like, I know it's an upgrade. And I'm being told just you don't need to worry about it. Every time I've been trying to brainwash myself into like being more motivated and like having exercise and stuff, and it's not been the one. It's like, no, that's fighting what's going on here. You need to just chill. That was 111 then. So I think I'm healing somebody else who I want to heal. In this process as well. So I'm giving this to them as well. I know that that's like part of this, what's going on at the moment. And I don't feel sick from it. But I had a bit of an upgrade last night. I had a bit of a psychic one. And then this letter's come out of it to my dad. That I've been thinking about writing something a bit more honest. Rather than just being like, oh, it's a shame it didn't work out. But, when there's been that level of abuse, which has basically made me disabled quite a lot of my life through verbal abuse. So verbal abuse is very serious. If anybody thinks that it's not, it is. Yeah, and it's given me a pattern of he's extremely manipulative, he's extremely manipulative. And the reason I carried on being in contact with him, because I believed that, underneath it all, he loves me really. And underneath it all, he wouldn't be like that, and underneath it all, there is no underneath it all, really. There is, you can see someone's soul, that's lovely for you, which I have the gift of doing that and seeing the good in people or, the souls of people. That's lovely. But it doesn't do your health any good. So, lovely. I've done really well. I've and everything I've done is very much, divine is very, very proud of me for what I've given and all the things I've put up with. But, the great test is, can you come out of this karma? And the answer is, yes. That's what I'm doing now. And I just need to, the psyche is reprogramming. Are you going to go back there again? We're going to just keep throwing little bits at you? You going to go back to people who hurt you, who didn't treat you very well, and the answer is no. Which is really good for me because, when you have got this narcissist codependent dynamic, it's not normal. Both people are sick, all right? It's not like the narcissist is the sick one, the codependent's not sick. The codependent is very sick. That's why I'm in recovery. But it's only usually the codependents who obviously go to recovery, apart from there are a lot of narcissists who have alcohol problems, a lot of codependents who have alcohol and drug problems as well. That's usually the only time that the narc will go into some sort of recovery is through drug and alcohol dependency, which can do them a lot of good, learning about, how to find love within themselves and not just making everybody's life a misery and their own mainly in the process of getting their supply and feeding their addiction. So That's a very valuable thing to do for people with that issue. And I'm not saying that all addicts are narcs, because they're not. Like I say, you know, it's all the spectrum, and it's all about, you know, how you deal with your wounds, really, isn't it? But, you know, I have had some flashbacks since this morning. I was in the bath. I keep being reassured because it's dredging up. I mean, I've not gone into great detail with it. I've not gone into any great detail, but I have just made it very clear. Just part sections of the life that have affected me. Because the thing is, if I don't explain what this thing has actually done, his soul will take a lot longer to progress, all right? I'm not saying it won't progress, but I'm actually really, really helping his soul progress on the path towards enlightenment, I suppose, in whatever lifetime that happens. Might be next lifetime. You know, he's got a lot of special qualities, and if he just was brave enough to tap into love, you know, you never know, it might be in his next lifetime, who knows. So, you know, especially if I have the bravery to send this letter to him, because really, I don't have to do anything. I mean, my soul person I'm talking to, who I'm helping here at the moment, was like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Ganesh, I've actually spoke to. Ganesha, the elephant god, Shiva's son, he's gave me a visit actually, which is very beautiful just now. And he said, because he's the king of obstacles, he's the energy of getting over obstacles. So what he said was, basically, this is an obstacle. This is a final big obstacle in your life, really, is what I interpret it as. He just kind of did a bit of a dance, and we interpret, but you interpret some things from spirit. It's not always that completely plain, but you know what the vibe is. Basically, get over the obstacles. This obstacle is going to be a very significant last obstacle in your development of actually being able to grow and flourish. You know, that's basically what the gist of it is. And so there was Ganesh, who's visited me, Anzu, my dragon, who is the Anzu, the balanced view. That's what he's about. Anzu, because he knows that the letter is not necessarily condemning. It's having a little bit of a pop. Not a pop, but like, that's not on, you know. I've said forgiveness at the end. He knows that I've forgotten. You know, it's not about forgiveness at the end of the day. It's about carrying somebody's years of abuse around with you. When you don't just say, do you know what? You did give me years of abuse. So there you go. I just need to tell you that. Even though I know that he knows it's not really about that. It's like you need to lift that off your chest, off your heart, off your throat, off your everything, solar plexus. You need to just lift that off and go, okay, you know, this is just what the score is. So that's what happened. All right. Very much an overview, not going into really much detail, but just a general vibe of different periods of my life, what was going on. Very brief, really, and just how that affected me. So that his soul, obviously his conscious mind, will be reject. He's a narcissist, so he's not going to go, oh no, you know, it will just be reject, you know, bile, anger, fits of rage, smash everything up. You know, that'll probably be the response. It's fine, you know, whatever. I have, you know, this isn't about, because I'm so beyond, because of the work I've done, I'm so beyond ever thinking of there's going to be an outcome to that. Because I know that things are not just this life. You know, this life is just one of the many for him. I know that what I'm saying, if I speak the truth to him, is about his soul having that for a bit. and digesting it. Because whatever his conscious mind does, like he did to me, program the fuck out of my unconscious, didn't he? And I'm trying to program his unconscious to somewhere nice. Unlike what I fucking got, but let's not be bitter about it. And I've said to him, I know that you wanted to control me. Parts of it was overcare, overprotection, parts of it. The other part of it is absolute and utter violent aggression, threats and all the rest of it, and abuse. There's no balance in any of this behaviour of this person. It's just complete and utter control and manipulation with a pretense of love, which is only manipulation with him. And I'm really glad that I'm so strong enough to see that now. That broke me to pieces as a child, because I thought he loved me in the way he behaved. He absolutely tore me to bits. And that's what I've said to him as well. It's like, it absolutely broke my heart to bits, because I actually believed, 11:11, I actually believed that you loved me, and that was what would really hurt. If I had have just been able to see that this man is insane, sick, a manipulator, doesn't love you, is just out to chuck his pain around at you, I could have just gone, okay, a bit more. But because I had this attachment that he had planted a program again in order to hurt the most that they possibly can, and this is not necessarily conscious, but this was divinely ordered. I was here to heal a lot of trauma that was beyond most human capacity. So the agony I had to feel that. And so I did. And I felt it every day for 10 years, whatever. Pretty much. Never got easier. Maybe as a teenager I could slightly detach from it more, but not really, because it felt very personal, and I didn't understand alcoholism, I didn't understand narcissism, I just thought this man, I was just like, why would you choose to be so horrible? That's a fair question, because he chose it. He chose to drink, he chose to behave the way he chose, and this is the point, we can't make excuses for people's behaviour. They choose what they do. Yeah, they choose when they hurt. And even if they've chosen to hurt, which I have in the past, and I've been abusive to covert narcissists who had me running around like a fucking lunatic as well, but still, I've still been out of order. I chose not to get into shit like that anymore, and I got some help, but I had to hit rock bottoms to do that, whereas he's never really had to hit a rock bottom, because obviously his wife died, sadly, but she wanted to leave him. Obviously he doesn't tell anyone in the pub that bit of the story, because everything was obviously ideal before she died, because that's much more gut-wrenching and gets a lot more narcissistic supply for him, and that everything was all perfect, and that he was the ideal partner. He worked so hard, and it was all this tragic, awful thing that happened to him. And of course he was the model husband, really trying to look after his child and all that bullshit, basically. It drove my mother insane, even on her deathbed, but let's not talk about that. I haven't told him the bit about the mum. He knows what he's done. He knows that, his level of manipulation wouldn't have done her health the world of good. Let's put it that way. Okay, this is how insidious and destructive and sick some people are, which my father is, and not in a, I don't know, some people want to just hand their sickness over to others, and they're just looking for someone to do it to. And those people, are generally narcissists. And the people who go out looking for somebody to plonk all that pain onto them, because that's how they grew up and they got addicted to it, their unconscious did, are called codependents. So what we want to do is integrate the shadow so that we don't do all that anymore, and we don't look for that anymore, because we're not addicted to pain anymore. And that's what the integration's for. And having the strength and the self-esteem, which obviously you were robbed of from day one by having such a sick, twisted, manipulative, abusive father, you know. Sad, yeah, his mother never showed him any love. But it doesn't excuse it. Again, we have to take our soul's responsibility. That is what this journey is about. It's not about making excuses as to why, you know, a lot of people's mum don't love them, and not a lot of people behave the way that he does. You know, it's not, we can't keep making these excuses. We can understand trauma, and we can understand that it hurts, and hurts others around us. You know, mine has. But it's ways of expressing it, which is what I'm dealing with, which is what I'm finding, which is why I'm in recovery. And he didn't care. He's never had a thought. He's never had an open thought about ever dealing with any of his issues. He thought it's okay to terrorise a 9-year-old. Apparently, that's all right. I don't need any help. I'm not sick. That's okay. She deserves it. So, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, absolutely fine. You know, I'll just go back to the pub and feel bad about it for a bit, and then I can just do it again and then tell her it's her fault. So, not really any real regard for my well-being, life, health, anything at all. And only doing whatever he felt like, because he could get away with it. So I can torture this child because I can get away with it. And a lot of people are like that, sadly. And because, of course, I couldn't tell anyone because I'd be a grass. So he was protected, which they always are, because I knew I was very close to just probably getting thrown out. He had it, you know, his cleaver hanging over me of, basically, he used to think up ways he would disown me. What for reasons he would disown me? I won't even tell you because they're just so horrible. I don't want to give you fucking nightmares, to be honest. But I lived in hell, so I know exactly what hell looks like. And spent a lot of time revisiting it again. Whatever you called home, your unconscious tries to recreate it. So we've only just come out of there, and we don't want to go back. So we're doing as much work as we can to stay the fuck out of it. So if anyone else has had a parent who absolutely has no regards for their child's feelings and think they deserve to be tortured in all kinds of ways, then I might be able to help you to deal with that situation. One thing in my book is, and it's in Pete Walker, who wrote CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, from surviving to thriving. And he only says in one part of the book, no contact. And at that time, I wasn't quite ready to hear it, but fuck me, am I glad I heard it. So if that's helping anyone to know, no contact is the best contact with somebody who has happily terrorised you as a child, especially. It's not doing your psyche any good to remain in contact with that person. Look after your inner child. Lots of love. I'm looking after her now. Have a lovely day. Chat soon. Bye-bye.